frequency is actually infinite in its rising. The levels of consciousness are quite defined, as you may see in the document. However, the vibration actually goes to infinity. It goes up and up and up, all the way to infinity, all the way to the center of the universe, and perhaps even further to the source itself, and then there are other universes in different structures and ways. So it's infinite rising of vibration, and when we speak about higher vibrational living, what we mean by that is a higher experience. Yeah, and it also means not only higher, but it means deeper, or a higher voltage, higher capacity experience. Capacity is a very good word for it, because the higher vibration is not necessarily more experienced as more intense. Yeah, it's not necessarily experienced as stronger, what you may associate with, like intense or stronger. Actually, it's quite the opposite, because to have a higher capacity, you need to have more openness. So many times I give the example of, imagine there is the ocean. Yeah, the ocean is big and wide, and then imagine there is a water pipe. Yeah, a water pipe is very defined. Let's say it's this diameter, and the water is flowing through it, but the water might be very intense because it's very narrow, isn't it? So the water is flowing very intensely. And usually you will see that the mountain rivers are the most intense rivers. Yeah, they're usually quite narrow, and there's a lot of water flowing from the mountain. However, the biggest rivers in the world, Ganga and Nile and other rivers, they're very big, very, very wide and very big, and there's a lot of water flowing, and quite slowly and easily, but a lot of water. Yeah, so that's what it means, capacity. It's not necessarily intensity or strength, but it's the size, when we say the volume. Yeah, the volume. So the same way in your own self, it is not about the intensity of energy or the strength of energy. It's about the volume of energy. Yeah, how much of energy you can process, allow to flow through you, how much energy you can manage within you. And the key factor to this capacity is, of course, your openness. And your openness as a space, and what we usually call your own aware space. Your own aware space. Because first of all, it is your space, it is your experience, and it is your capacity. And all of that is in your own space and in your own aware space. We'll discuss about that a bit later. But this morning is a focus on higher vibrational living. So in this document you will see that there are these two vortexes. One is going up and the other one is going down. The downward vortex is when you are in a lower, may say difficult emotional state usually. And then there is a certain mechanics that if you are below what is called the level of courage 200s, then these difficulties become somehow more difficult. It sometimes becomes even more difficult because, many times people are saying, I wanted to come to retreat, but I couldn't, and the next retreat comes up next year, and they say, I wanted, but I couldn't. Or then some people say, I wanted to do this practice, but I can't find time, I can't do this, I can't do that. And they always cannot. Yeah, they always can't, because something happens in their life constantly. Something prevents them from experiencing something more beautiful, something more on a higher consciousness. And that is because their attachments and their patterns are, we may say, in a downward spiral. Yeah, they're suppressing the person from something good. Of course, it doesn't make a logical sense when you think of it, like, of course everybody wants more good, but some people, they're suppressing themselves because their psychology, their consciousness is working in such a way, and that breaking point is exactly depicted here. Yeah, so once a person is above courage 200s, then very interestingly, there is an upward spiral that life starts to support you more and more. And you say, oh, I wanted to do this, and my friend came over, he said something even better, and I tried that, and synchronicities come up, and it means that things are aligning and supporting that person. So the beautiful thing is that your focus is a very key tool that you have. Your focus is your key tool. And when you focus on a higher vibrational living and evolution of yourself, or alignment towards the universal laws, you start flowing with the river. Yeah, you start flowing with the universe together. You're not flowing against the river, yeah, because that's a hard job and you're not going to go far with that. Yeah, so you start embracing these universal laws. You start embracing the nature, the way the things actually work. And therefore you align. And what happens is that life starts to support you in many, many different ways. Many different ways. So the more you focus on alignment with these natural laws, the more life will support you. And that is the most important rule number one, we may say. To focus on a higher vibration, because everything else will help you. The whole universe will help you. Yeah, so this is the life supporting cycle. And this is absolutely not new, because that is how the universe is working. That's how it's made. Yeah, these are the natural laws. And we may say that, not knowing the laws, it doesn't make you free from those laws, because that's how the universe works. So it's the same with our legal system, that it doesn't matter if you don't know the laws, but you're still responsible for what you do. It would be very nice to see if our legal system was aligned with the universal laws and the universal legal system. So that would be a really wonderful way to live. However, our politicians have their own karma to clear, and we need to focus on ourselves. We need to focus on ourselves, and we need to thus align ourselves. So the rule number one is focus. Your focus determines what you want to resonate with, where you place your energy, where you direct your energy, where you direct your mental energy, emotional energy, and well, all other energies really, because whether emotional or mental, they're all energies. So your focus directs energy, and thus you start aligning. So this is a golden rule, number one, we may say. Now, what is also very practical is that you need to have more and more life force energy. Yeah, so this is where these exercises come in that you have done this morning already, and there are of course many more exercises you can do, practices and breathing practices and meditation practices, and actually we have one device which is generating life force energy. It's over there. It's called the chi generator or chi gun. So it's very amazing. So there are various ways to increase this life force energy, because that is, we may say, the universal, the real universal currency that you have or that you use, and that you are able to do things with. Yeah, the universe doesn't work with papers and coins. It works with the life force energy. And thus, the second most important thing is the life force energy that you can have within you throughout every single day, and even throughout every single moment, actually, because you are living every single second. Yeah, you're not just living in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. You're living every single second. So the life force energy also determines what you are able to do, and your capacity as well to do things. So all these exercises to restore your life force energy, to keep the life force energy, and to use your life force energy are also essential to know, so that you can have a higher performance and capacity throughout your day. There are many successful people, famous people, actors and businessmen and so on, who are already awoken, and they also say that exactly throughout their day, you know, they're so really busy with so many things to do, and how do they manage all of that? Well, they break down the day into times when they meditate and when they reboot their brain. When they reboot their brain, when they refresh themselves, and when they also have more life force energy, so that they can continue their day. Yeah? So you can split the day into more parts and refresh, reboot yourself, and to recharge yourself. Like if you're using your phone very often, the battery goes down, you need to recharge it. So the same way it's your body, you know, if you're using a lot of capacity of yourself, you need to reboot and recharge yourself. So it's the same principle really that functions. So that's number 2. Number 3 is starting with the lowest. And the lowest is your physical body. This is the lowest vibration, because it's physical, it's manifested, it's solid. It's the lowest vibration that you carry. And therefore, taking care of your body is of utmost importance. Yeah, we're speaking about consciousness and full consciousness, but now we're speaking about your body, and it's important. Because your physical body is your tool. It is a tool, it is a vessel that you use. It is a tool of your consciousness. It is a tool of your soul. and your body is directed also by your mind and by your focus. Yes, and the body, of course, is the most limited form of energy you have, and the most limited tool that you have, we may say, and therefore we need to start also from the bottom. So the best way to take care of your body is what we call the high vibrational diet, and also including certain exercises such as 5 Tibetan rites that you had introduction in the morning. I remember 10-15 years ago I was doing 5 Tibetan rites every single morning 4 years straight. 4 years straight, every single morning. So they're absolutely amazing and supporting and simple, and they don't take much time at all. So these are some of the really major benefits. 5 Tibetan rites are essential, and you may watch a video on our YouTube channel where I describe in much more detail of how they work for your body, how they help your energy system, and so on. And today we're focusing the big picture, yes? So 5 Tibetan rites, pranayamas, and high vibrational diet. And high vibrational diet, of course, it's about the food that you eat, and even more so, you will find later on that not only to become a vegetarian is important, and you may take a little bit of time, but also to use certain supplements is also important, because the regular food that you buy, it doesn't have a high vibration, such a high vibration. It really varies so much, that the food that we buy. And let's take an even example, a regular shop just here down the road, every person that comes in, they choose what they like. Yeah, one person may come over and pack his whole cart full of meat, and the other person may come to the same shop and choose certain products that are really supporting and really helping their body. Certain juices, certain vegetables, and so on that are really, really amazing and really supporting. So it's the same shop that everybody visits, but people choose different things. Yeah, your focus. Your focus determines your experience, your reality. So high vibrational diet, essentially the first most important rule is to take time to slowly remove the red meats. We will not go too much into detail, just some basics. To take maybe 6 months, if a person is, we may say still eating meat, to take 6 months to gradually remove the meats from their diet, and then to remove even chicken, and later on to remove even fish, so that let's say in a year, slowly, comfortably, a person transitions into vegetarian diet. Now, of course, there are these vegan and raw and this and that, but there is another approach which is actually more focused on a higher vibration, and that's called alkaline diet. So alkaline diet is acknowledged by most nutritionists, and according to our research and research of many others, as the most supporting diet that one may have. You may find more information on our website. So I'm just saying alkaline diet, and you can find more info later on. So transitioning to become vegetarian, transitioning to alkaline diet, let's say within 1 year comfortably, and then starting to use certain supplements. So you have already heard about these superfoods like spirulina, wheatgrass, and so on. They're really amazing. They should be used daily, especially spirulina, for example. And they have a lot of nutrition, yeah? So like wheatgrass, for example, you can drink like a little cup of wheatgrass every day, and that little cup has the same quantity of nutrition and minerals and vitamins, just like eating 1 kilogram of vegetables and fruits. Yeah? Like a whole kilo of veggies and fruits. It has the same nutritional value just in one single cup, and you can just drink it like that. Yeah, so it's amazing. So once you start to know these things, then your body is fully supplied with nutrition, with all the healthy stuff that regular, foods are lacking, or you need to eat a lot of those foods, and probably you will not eat that many of those foods. So using these supplements really, really help. And then there are other supplements that we have done a lot of research. There are Ayurvedic, Indian, certain spices, and you may also find them on our website. There's a section called High Vibrational Diet, and therefore taking these supplements, starting to include them, will help to boost your brain capacity, to start to boost your nervous system, will start to supply a large amount of antioxidants, will allow to oxygenate all your cells, because every cell needs oxygen to function, and therefore you will start experiencing this much greater energy within you. Yeah, from the physical standpoint, you will start to experience more energy, more vitality, and especially your nervous system plays a very key role in your capacity of higher energy and higher consciousness. So we do focus a lot on the nervous system capacity, because that is something which is kind of your hardware, we may say. Your nervous system and your physical body is the hardware. Yeah, like it's like the physical phone, we can say. And then the software is all the functions that you use. So like your focus is your key software. Yeah, it's your key software. We could say that consciousness is your operating system. It could be said so, and then all the ways that you see life and all the things that you do and focus on, that's kind of your applications and your software within yourself. Yeah, so from the physical point of view, there are many things you can do to make your body so much healthier, more energy and so on. You may use certain devices, and we have quite a few here, that would also support and speed up the process. Because now the holistic technologies are really coming up, and they're really amazing for many things to help out. They will not make you, though, enlightened or in full consciousness. We're not there yet with technology. However, they can help you with your nervous system. They can help even to meditate. We have a device there called Neorhythm, and you just put a program, and it puts you in meditation state very easily. Yeah, so if you have any problems in meditation, you may get one of those devices. Quite cheap, relatively. You can carry it in your handbag, and there's an application. You just push a button, and it sends healthy electromagnetic waves, and it really calms you down, and There are functions to increase your concentration, to help you sleep, to help you to meditate, to synchronize the left and right brain. Yeah, so these are really amazing things, because doing that manually takes longer. So if I had this device before, maybe I could saved maybe like 5,000 or 10,000 hours of meditation. Yeah, because I've done probably at least 20,000 hours of meditation, well, before reaching a certain stage, and now it's every moment is a real-time meditation, we may say, because meditation is awareness, actually. The goal of meditation is to balance yourself so that you may be fully open in awareness and consciousness. And once you are in awareness and consciousness, it's meditation kind of, we may say, dissolves or is fully present as a natural thing, which is constantly happening now. Yeah, so that's a good shortcut, to use that device. I'll tell you from my experience, it would save you lots of hours of hard work. Yes. And then what is very important is to know what to do according to where you are. So that's where comes in the levels of consciousness. And that's where we can determine, where you are in your journey and capacity at this moment, and therefore you can do certain things to help you very quickly to progress forward. Yeah? So according to the levels of consciousness, there are different meditations to do, different practices to do. Because if you're doing something which is meant for something totally else, you are wasting your time, really, isn't it? And you will not get the results. Yeah? If you're doing the same practice for 10 years, obviously it's not working anymore very well, because it has worked you for the first year, and then you just kind of got used to it, and it can be a certain integrated thing, but it's not going to progress you forward. Yeah? So meditations and practices, I call them your personal toolkit. It's your personal toolkit that you need to know how to use, which tools to use when. So therefore it's good to learn a lot of different techniques and methods, and then to constantly see what works best for you to progress forward. Yeah, and according to each level of consciousness, there are really different kinds of practices to do. They're like very different at each level of consciousness. And this is what makes a transition, a growth. Just like in the educational system, you learn some things in the primary, you learn some things in the secondary, then in the high school, in the college, at the university, university, universe. So by now, everybody who has finished university should learn how to be in the universe. So we can see that, humanity has a certain intuition, that university should be about the universe, but then something happens that it doesn't really get there, it doesn't really manifest that. So, however, we do need to acknowledge that humanity has this amazing intuition and moments of clarity and potential. Yeah, so we just need to put our focus and energy in the right direction, and we can achieve anything. Yeah, that's the miracle. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at different levels of consciousness, there are different things to do, different techniques and to implement. Now, many people can quickly progress through these levels of consciousness with the right guidance and the right knowledge. So that's a fast track. Yeah, knowing how it works, how it is, you can progress a lot quicker. Levels of consciousness are really, we may say, the most scientific approach to consciousness, energy, spirituality, and it correlates very well with all other known traditions who have these different steps. In various traditions, in yogic traditions and other traditions, many have defined certain steps of growth, steps of evolution, but they would use highly, Indian words and Sanskrit words or Tibetan language, so therefore it would be quite difficult to grasp what that is, and they would not define so well, so what do you do at this step and that step and that step? Yeah, unless you go to some Himalayan monastery and so on and spend a few years or decade, and if they want to share that with you, because you're a Westerner and they have their way of living, so it was a lot of cultural things, a lot of religious things, a lot of societal things that kind of prevented the ease of growth. And so having a clear path makes everything so much easier. It's like having a map, I call it a map, a GPS, a clear path. It makes things a lot easier. It removes a lot of confusions, a lot of doubts, a lot of doing things that don't work for you and so on. So it saves you time and effort and money, so that you can progress easily and quickly. So having this map is important, and then having a good guide is also important, because a good guide would help you to identify exactly what you need and what's most efficient and quick for you and so on. And of course, it's not only myself, there is Lyonne, and there are many other teachers that we have trained. They are now around the world in many countries, and thus they're there to help everyone to progress quickly and easily. And there is one more important aspect is what we call a transmission. So that is something that directly bypasses the mind, the conscious, subconscious mind, and directly amplifies the source consciousness itself. So transmission is basically an amplification of the source, natural consciousness. That's one thing. And the other thing, it also serves as, we may say, a quick detoxifier, so to speak, a quick deconditioner for the mind, for the internal conditions. So it not only amplifies the natural consciousness, but also helps to speed up the conditioning of the subconscious. So transmissions are done by teachers who already are there. So in this case, it will be myself and Lyonne, and we help people to amplify and speed up this process. And thus, we have amazing results in our community. There is now actually more than 15, 17 students who are above 700s all the way to 1,000, and that's a very, very advanced levels of consciousness. And we have like hundreds and hundreds of people at 500s, inner love and inner light. So we spent a lot of time developing these effective, we may say, practices, because levels of consciousness are not new. They have been actually researched by a person called David Hawkins. However, we took a practical approach. He took a theoretical approach, and we took a practical approach of how to actually do it. And nowadays, you will also find that it's very supportive and it's easier than it has ever been before. And you're also, of course, free to use your current meditation techniques, to use your current practices, as long as they help you, as long as you see some results. Yeah, so that's a general advice. So everything is allowed and is integrated as long as it helps you and supports you, and you see the results. Then it's all. Then you know that you're on the right track. Any questions so far? I know it's a lot, but yes.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we know what consciousness level we are at? Can we know can only someone else like you?
Yeah, we do what's called kinesiology, and it's a muscle testing technique. It's been researched for decades, actually. And with kinesiology, we can find exactly, very precisely where you are. So that's one approach, and the other approach is also to, for teachers who are more experienced, we may already intuitively sense where one is, and also we already know that, for example, a person in 500s inner love, they would already have their heart open quite well, and they would already feel these loving energies, and they would have most likely their chakras open already to a certain degree. So there's already a certain harmony and balance within them that we know that this person is already there. Yeah, so kinesiology is the best way, and we always use it to make the most precise measurement. And then we know that generally in inner love state, a person is feeling like this. They are even behaving in a certain way. They're even perhaps even talking in a certain way sometimes. And a person in 600s, for example, in presence would be already a lot more focused on the present itself rather than energy. Yeah, because let's say in inner light, inner love, people are very much engaged with energies and with their chakras and so on. But moving higher up, let's say to presence, the energies are becoming less important, and more important is about being and the immediate present space of being. And then when people move higher, the next step is non-duality, for example. You would already recognize a certain way of speaking or expressing oneself, which is kind of beyond dualities. Yeah, it has a certain a depth of expression of the truth in a moment. Yet again, it depends on integration, because some people move very quickly, and thus they may already experience something within them on a much higher level, but they may not be able to express it or explain it because they got there very quickly. So that's another thing to consider. So in our community, There are people who moved up very quickly, and you know, they're taking time to integrate that into their life experience. And some people, they take more like a step-by-step approach. Everyone is unique, and you know, you can take your way, basically. Yeah, you can take it your way. And thus, integration is important part. Yeah, because that's something that takes a bit of time, and to fully bring it into your conscious understanding, to bring it into your expression and into your life experience and even manifestation. So that takes some time. However, to open up, it can be quite fast. It can be quite fast. Generally, what we see is that in let's say in 5 years, pretty much everybody can get to high levels of consciousness. Somewhere between 700 to 1,000, everybody can get in 5 years. Pretty much everybody who really wants it can get there. Some people manage to get there in a year or 2 years, and then it depends on determination and practice, and also maybe the past and the willingness and capacity. So there are certain factors that make it quicker and easier. However, it's your own unique path, and you will find that you will learn so much, and you will gain like this toolkit of knowing how to manage these emotions and those emotions, how to manage your mind in this way and that way, that, you know, in 6 months, a year, and 2 years, you're going to have a big toolkit within you. And it becomes a way of living. It becomes your way of living. And essentially, even, you know, reaching the higher levels of consciousness, it's not the end goal. Yeah, because at the higher levels of consciousness, you basically enjoy life much more. Yeah, so you continue living and continue enjoying, and life is being lived presently, and life is really eternal. So thus, you know, the higher the level of consciousness, the more you live it fully, so to speak, and even beyond 1,000, it's an infinite progression upwards, into, we can say, beyond humanness. Yeah, because 1,000 is in human terms, and it's the highest achievement of the human possibility. But then, you know, there are, for example, these angels, you know, or some mystical beings, or mythological beings, or star beings, and we always knew that there are these various gods and goddesses and so on. So these beings are living in a higher dimensions, in 4D, 5D, and so on, and their capacity and perception is so much larger than the ability of a human being. However, some of you may already have come here from a higher place, and that's a question of your soul. You know, where do you actually come from? Because some people are actually first-time humans on this earth, but some of you have been, you know, maybe 1,000 times humans already incarnated, or 10,000 times, or you came here from a much higher dimension to simply help humans and the present events on this earth. So knowing yourself, it becomes the most interesting journey to take. To know yourself, to know who you really are, and to get these answers to the most important questions. So this path we call Ascension path. Yeah, and we have now opened an academy for Ascension, and that's where we focus on Ascension topic and the multi-dimensionality. And that's exciting and interesting and amazing, infinitely, universally. So there are different things. One thing is to focus on your consciousness opening. I would say that's number one, because that will change things in your life quickest, and allow you to grow fastest. And high vibrational living, it's something to learn step by step and to integrate into your life. And the ascension work, it's the most exciting thing to do in the whole universe. Yeah, so it's really infinite, and you can discover so much about everything that it's a never-ending thing, really. And it's a never-ending thing to work on as well, because you will simply increase your experience to be more loving, more joyful, more happy, more connected to the nature, to all other subtler realms. So your experience will increase in its capacity to enjoy life. Yeah, so that's one way of putting what is ascension. So I probably spoke a lot more about other things that you asked. Yes. Yeah, so I'm a bit too much talkative right now because it's our introductions, you know. So it's our first meetings, but then we will focus more and more on practices themselves. So maybe if you have one more question, we can cover that, and then we will do a meditation together. Yeah, if you want to ask something, feel free, or else we can focus on the practice.
I've got a question. Say it in English. If you rise the when I open up more, I can feel and see much more, and it makes me scared. I don't really want to see all those things, and it's often one of my reasons why I close my eyes.
Yeah, the reason is fear, isn't it?
Yes.
The reason is fear. And it's the fear of something unknown. A fear of something unknown that you will not know what to do, how to do, and what to make out of it. So the reason is actually fear. Yeah, that's the reason why you know what you do and what happens in such a way. And so what's the answer to that? It's to overcome the fear and to simply maybe to learn what you need to know before, you know, seeing things or opening things, and so basically to work a bit on the fear itself, because it's the fear that is preventing you. And it may not necessarily mean that you will, on your path, that you will see something, because you know, I you know, working with people, I see that I could say maybe like it's a 50% thing, that like half of the people may see some things in meditation or experience something very new. We may say energetically and so on, that is something very new for them. But for other people, let's say for the other half, it's a different way. It's just more about working on emotions and working on the mental patterns and allowing all these fears to go away. And half of the people don't see things in meditation or these subtler dimensions. And I will tell everyone that it is not about seeing things. You know, the goal is not to see rainbows and colors and unicorns. Yeah, that's not the goal. The goal is happiness, really. The goal is your happiness. The goal is your peace. The goal is to let go of all the fears that are holding you back and to enjoy yourself, to enjoy your life in your way, in your way. Yeah, everyone is unique. And some people like, you know, mountain biking, some people like skiing, some people like hiking, some people like maybe drinking a cup of tea in a terrace. You know, everybody has their way, and that's fine. And therefore, it is about your way. Yeah? So I find that some people do like to work with energies a lot. And however, regardless of that, for everyone, it is essential to work on your emotions, mind, psychology, so that you release these fears and conditions. This is something for everyone. And then there are these optional things, you know, seeing things and working on certain things, and I call them optional practices and optional also gifts that certain people have. And a gift is also, like, for example, a psychic gift. For some people it's very natural to have that. Some people simply work on it to open it up. But regardless, it is always a lot of work involved in any of the gifts. If anyone has some gifts of, you know, multidimensional things, it's a lot of work in it. And this is something unique and optional to each person. However, what is for everyone is to work on your emotions, on your mind, on your subconsciousness, and to simply open up your awareness more. That is something for everyone, regardless. Yeah, because that is for every human being, really. So in your case, it is about emotions, really, because that's the current challenge, and for everyone, it is. And emotions and feelings, they go deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah, there are many layers of these emotions and feelings. And the beautiful thing is when you heal a certain emotion, you discharge something which has been locked up or kept in the body. Because your physical organs are struggling because a person is usually keeping a lot of suppressed emotions, and they're kind of getting locked up in different areas. In the body, in the heart, in the liver, in the kidneys, and so on. And then your organs start struggling because something is kept and locked up, and they're not allowed to be fresh and alive and refresh themselves. So emotional healing and discharging is really essential. And every time one is releasing emotional condition and a mental condition, there's a great relief felt and a great lightness. Yeah, so when you will feel, oh, I'm lighter now, then you know something good has happened. Yeah, and then maybe something heavy has uplifted, then you will know something good has happened. Yeah, so that's how, that is for everyone. That is for everyone. regardless at which level of consciousness one is, it's for everyone. Because even at the higher levels of consciousness, they're just deeper and more subtler and more like fundamental.